Today, I am going to discuss a disease called low platelets. It is a condition in which the number of platelets present in the body becomes very low. In some cases, this problem starts in childhood and continues throughout life, never fully returning to normal. Let me tell you about a child who lived his entire life with this condition, yet no permanent cure could be found. Let's begin. In a small town in the United States, a baby boy is born. At first, everything seems normal. The family is happy, the child appears healthy. A few days later, when he undergoes circumcision, something unexpected happens. The bleeding starts, and it does not stop. The doctors and nurses try to control it, but the bleeding continues longer than it should. The baby's parents become extremely worried. They cannot understand what is happening. At home, they try different traditional remedies, hoping the bleeding will slow down, but nothing works. Finally, they rush the baby to the hospital. The doctors immediately begin running different tests. While waiting for the lab results, they start an IV drip to stabilize him. As soon as the IV treatment begins, the bleeding gradually slows down and finally stops. Hours later, the test results arrive. The doctors look concerned. The baby's platelet count is only 27,000. A normal platelet count is much higher, and such a low number can be dangerous. The medical team realizes they are dealing with a serious condition. During this time, the baby's mother, crying and anxious, approaches the doctor. The doctor gently asks her to sit down. He speaks calmly and carefully. "Your child has a condition called thrombocytopenia," he explains. "This means his platelet count is very low. Platelets are responsible for helping the blood clot. Without enough platelets, even a small injury can cause prolonged bleeding." He continues, "You will need to take special precautions. Your child must avoid activities that could cause injuries. Even minor cuts or bruises may lead to serious bleeding." The parents sit in silence, trying to process the news. From that day forward, their lives change. They must protect their child from falls, sharp objects, and rough play. Every small bruise becomes a cause for concern. Every nosebleed feels like an emergency. This is the reality of living with chronic thrombocytopenia, a condition that requires constant care, awareness, and strength. And for some children, it becomes
emotions. A few days later, out of nowhere, the little boy's nose started bleeding again. At first, it didn't seem like a big deal. His mom rushed over, grabbed a wet towel, and gently wiped his nose. "It's okay, it'll stop," she whispered to herself. But it didn't stop. They tried pouring cold water over his head. They pressed his nose. They waited. But the blood just kept coming. Panic slowly filled the room. They rushed him to the emergency room. Doctors moved fast. An IV was hooked up. A blood transfusion was started. After what felt like forever, the bleeding finally slowed down. The boy and his mother sat there, shaken, scared, exhausted. "Why does this keep happening?" she asked. The doctors looked at her with sympathy and said, "There's no permanent cure. He'll have to live with this condition." They prescribed some medicines and discharged him. Days turned into months. Months turned into years. The boy grew older, but the bleeding never truly stopped. It came and went. Different doctors were consulted, different treatments were tried, but nothing really worked. His hemoglobin kept dropping. His platelets stayed stuck around 30,000 to 35,000. No medicine seemed to make a difference, and slowly he grew weaker. But what hurt the most wasn't the weakness. It was watching other kids play. He couldn't play cricket. What if the ball hit his nose? He couldn't play football. What if he fell?
Understood,
He
Doctor.
couldn't
Vitals
join
are
rough
stable.
games.
Injection
What if he
complete.
got hurt?
Confirmed.
Even a small injury could turn into a nightmare. Sometimes he would sneak out to play anyway, just for a few minutes, just to feel normal. But his parents would be on edge the whole time, terrified something might happen. One day, he went to his cousin's house. His cousin practiced karate. It looked cool, powerful, confident. For a moment, the boy felt something he hadn't felt in a long time: hope. He asked his cousin to teach him a few moves. His cousin agreed right away, excited to show him. But fate had other plans. While demonstrating a kick, his cousin's foot accidentally struck the boy's face. A sharp crack. One of his teeth broke. And then, the blood started again. Exactly what everyone feared. This time, he didn't tell anyone. Night was falling. He thought maybe it would stop on its own. He wiped the blood away quietly. Sometimes he swallowed it. Sometimes he cleaned it off. He didn't want to scare anyone again. He went to bed, hoping it would be over by morning. But in the middle of the night, he woke up. His pillow was soaked in blood, his face covered. When he saw it, he broke down crying. The sound woke everyone up. His parents rushed in and froze at the sight. There was blood everywhere. His mother quickly cleaned his face, trying to stay calm, but the bleeding was still going. Hour after hour, it continued. He felt weaker and weaker. For a moment, he thought, maybe this is it. Maybe I won't make it. They rushed him to the emergency room again. The same treatment, another blood bottle, more IV lines, more waiting. He stayed under observation for a few days before finally being sent home. But each episode left him weaker than before. While other kids filled their childhood with memories of games and laughter, his childhood was filled with hospital rooms, needles, and the sight of blood. Because of his low platelets, he didn't just lose blood, he lost pieces of a